Thanks very, very much, Phil. We'll see you a little bit later on. Dianna Steward, a South African that has immigrated to the United States of America, says many people who follow the immigration process should be cautious of scammers before applying for citizenship abroad. Steward and her family immigrated in 2001, and 16 years later, they are still battling to finalize their legal paperwork. She later found a company called PathwayUSA to assist South African families with relocation advice and referral services in America. She joins us from our Sea Point studio this morning to try and help those that are in that particular position. Dianna, thank you very much for talking to us and welcome to Morning Live.
Hi, good morning, Leanne. From a nice drizzly Cape Town, I'm delighted to be here.
Good, I'm happy. We need as much rain as possible in Cape Town. So, Dianna, your story, I imagine, it's not a unique one. It's one that a lot of people have encountered. So, what happened to you? Were you sort of thinking everything was going to be fine as soon as you moved to the US, and it was a very different story when you got there?
Oh, absolutely. When we first decided to relocate to the United States, we really were only going on a temporary basis. We were going to see how it went. We arrived there, and shortly thereafter we had 9/11, which of course was traumatic for the entire world, and has had an implication for the world ever since. And yes, relocating to any country is extremely difficult. Even though you might speak the language or you might think that you understand the culture, it is an enormous adjustment.
Yeah, it is. It's an exceptionally enormous adjustment. Now, to date, actually, your company, PathwayUSA, has helped over 100 families. What kind of assistance do you give? How is this process? How does it work?
Well, when you arrive in a completely new culture, you have no idea how things are done, and so you really do need somebody to hold your hand and show you exactly how to do it, how to adjust, how to open a bank account, how to start a credit score, how to establish yourself so that you don't have problems moving ahead. Very often people relocate to a new country and they have no idea how to assimilate. And so that's where we come in, and we hold your hand every step of the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I imagine, a very easy process.
No, it can be extremely frustrating. It can be very traumatic. People have likened it to a divorce or death, even death. You're leaving something that you know, you're leaving a lifestyle that you've grown up with probably, and adjusting the first couple of years can be extremely hard and very traumatic. Yeah. So we try to make it easier for people. We try to get them to fit in easier, and to just take away the little stumbling blocks that people make every day.
Yeah. How far are you with your relocation? Not that you said it was going to be very temporary, but in terms of your process, did you eventually finalize it? Have you got the papers? Are you a citizen of America, or is that still something that hasn't been finalized?
No, I'm a permanent resident of the United States now. So yes, my situation is solved. Unfortunately, my daughter is still waiting for those papers. But the rest of my family does have permanent residence, and no, it'll still be a good couple of years before we would even consider being U.S. citizens. So. We haven't even got to that point yet.
I must say, there's always this one tempting little banner that shoots up on whether you be looking at Facebook or any form of social media. It always says, click here, enter the US lotto, you too can get a green card, you too can become a US citizen, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm sure you've seen it and you know what I'm talking about, and so do a lot of other viewers. What is that? I mean, is that something that actually does happen, that people win this US lottery to get a green card?
There is a program called the DV Lottery, and it is run by the U.S. State Department every year. There is talk that the Trump administration might do away with it, and so there's tremendous demand for this lottery at the moment. I must caution people, there are an enormous amount of scammers out there who want you to pay to enter this lottery. No one should ever pay to enter this lottery. There's only one website, and it's governed by the United States, and they never, ever ask you to pay for it. So if you have paid to enter the DV lottery, you have most likely been scammed.
Yeah, that's a question that's what I was hoping you would say, is that anybody that's sort of been caught by that and have had to provide credit card details and things like that, stay away from it, really. This must be a very costly exercise, though, for anybody that wants to immigrate from a country and wanting to go through that process. What are we looking at, approximately?
The United States is an expensive country to move to, like the UK, because of our exchange rate. And so, yes, it can be very expensive. For example, there are quite a few South Africans right now who are considering an EB-5 investment visa, which is a $500,000 investment in a development in the United States. And if they comply with all the necessary requirements, they would then get a green card after a couple of years. So, $500,000 for South Africans is a substantial amount, and not everybody can meet that need. But there are other ways to immigrate to the United States. There are a number of non-immigrant visas. There are a number of immigrant visas for extraordinary ability people who have very specialist skills. So there are a number of ways, but it is an extraordinarily expensive thing to undertake. Not only do you have to pay for your visas and your application and your attorney, but you also have to pay for your physical relocation of your family or yourself.
You also wrote a book entitled, which I find it a great title, but a sad one at the same time, Scars and Stripes, talking and documenting your whole process that you went through, this whole immigration process. Tell us a little bit about this book.
Well, yes, we have had an extraordinary experience, and it's well documented on various websites that we have, and I've done a lot of interviews through my journey. But it hasn't been published yet. It's in the process of being edited right now, and we hope it will be published early in the new year. Okay. It's an extraordinary story, and I think people will find it very interesting to read once it's published.
Yeah. Moving back to South Africa, I mean, do you live in South Africa now, or are you still living in America?
I'm a resident of North Carolina. I live in a very beautiful city called Charlotte, which is kind of similar to Durban in feel, even though it's not at the coast. It's only about 2 hours from the coast. I've been there for almost 20 years now, but I travel to South Africa a lot. I have family here, and so I'm very happy to come back and visit.
Good. Well, listen, good luck with all of it. And it's a company that you have created, helping other people that perhaps find themselves in the same position. So it's called PathwayUSA. And the website address, would it be pathwayusa.com?
PathwayUSA.coza.
.co.za. Excellent.
Yeah, it's a South African URL.
Brilliant. All the details from you there. Thank you for talking to us. Thanks very much for being our guest. So talking to us, Dianna Steward, she's the founder of PathwayUSA. It's a company that is trying to assist South Africans in any way. If you're wanting to move over to the United States and immigrate, this is a company that can assist you. And Dianna telling us about her really difficult situation. Since 2001, for 16 years, she's been battling to finalize all of those legal papers. So pathway.co.za, pathwayusa.co.za, I beg your pardon, if you'd like their assistance. Let's take a break. We'll see you after this. Does a boss, what makes a good boss? That's the topic of discussion up next. Palesa, looking forward to this one. Stay tuned.